First, we import TensorFlow as TF. Then we print out the TensorFlow version we are using. We are using TensorFlow 1.5.0. In this video, we're going to generate two example TensorFlow tensors full of random numbers in a given range by using TensorFlow's random uniform operation. For the first example, we'll generate random float 32 numbers. We create a 2 by 4 by 6 with a data type float 32. The min value is 0, the max value is 1, and we're using TensorFlow.randomUniform, and we're going to assign it to the Python variable tf_ru_float_x. Note that though we specify a min value and max value, the TensorFlow defaults are 0 for the min value and 1 for the max value if we're using the float 32. The other thing to take into account is that when we do the random uniform, the min value is included in the range, while the max value is not included in the range. Let's print out the tf_ru_float_x Python variable to see what we have. We see that it's a TensorFlow tensor. We see that the shape is 2 by 4 by 6, and we see the data type is float 32. Because we haven't run it in a TensorFlow session yet, it doesn't have any values attached to it. For the second example, we'll generate random int32 numbers. So we're going to use the TensorFlow random uniform. The shape we want is 2 by 4 by 6. The min value is going to be 0. The max value is going to be 100. And this time the data type is TensorFlow int32, and we're going to assign it to the Python variable tf_ru_int_x. Let's print this variable we just created. We see that it's a TensorFlow tensor. The shape is 2 by 4 by 6, and the data type is int32. Like the previous example, because we haven't run it in a TensorFlow session, it doesn't have any values yet. Alright, now that we've created our TensorFlow tensors, it's time to run the computational graph. Let's launch the graph in a session, and let's initialize all the global variables in the graph. Next, we print out our two tensors to see how TensorFlow's random uniform operation did. Let's now print out our first TensorFlow tensor. Great, we see that it is a 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what we expect. We see that all the numbers are floating point numbers, and we see that the tensor is full of random numbers pulled from the random uniform distribution with a minimum value of 0 and a max value of 1. So none of the numbers are below 0 and none of the numbers are above the number 1. Let's now print our second TensorFlow tensor example, and we see that again that it is a 2 by 4 by 6 tensor. We see that the numbers are all integer numbers, and we see that the tensor is full of random numbers pulled from the random uniform distribution with a minimum value of 0. We see a 0 here, and a max value of 100. So none of the numbers are below 0, none of the numbers are above 100. Perfect, it worked. We were able to generate a TensorFlow tensor full of random numbers in a given range by using TensorFlow's random uniform operation.